Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and it is Sunday, the 30th of May in the year 2021. And can you believe it? May is over. Tomorrow's the last day. And if you live in the United States, you are celebrating Memorial Day weekend, holiday weekend. And I wish everyone well there. And here in Costa Rica, we just had a beautiful sunset. So what was funny is this is the second time I'm starting to record this, because what I was doing the first time was saying, and we're having a beautiful sunset here. And I went, wait a minute, why am I in the house when there's a beautiful sunset that's going to be gone in a few minutes? So let me go see the beautiful sunset, which I did. And there were pinks and oranges and some blues, and there was some overcast sky, but it poured so much the other night and there wasn't much of a sunset. Last night there was, but a sunset here is really something beautiful and sometimes extraordinary. And so I try not to miss them if they're visible. So there you go. And when I stepped outside my door, there was a little frog outside, and he wasn't too tiny. He probably fit in the palm of my hand. He was maybe a little toad. And so he was sitting there, and I took a couple pictures. So frogs are good. Frogs are a good sign. They're good animal spirits. So, if you ever see a frog, it's a good animal spirit. Look it up online. But anyway, on to astrology and beautiful sunsets. So I hope wherever you are, you had a beautiful sunset. So Mercury's retrograde. Ta-da! As of yesterday afternoon here, Mercury went retrograde at 24 degrees of Gemini. And he rules Gemini, so he's at home there. But, it doesn't matter. He's retrograde. And I got to tell you, there was so much confusion in the last week and miscommunications and things missed and people not hearing right and stuff not getting through. And I talked with a friend, and we both said, you know what? It feels like Mercury's already retrograde. And that was like a week ago. And that's the way it's felt. So, it's retrograde. It's finally retrograde. It is in retrograde. And it's been doing a lot of things. On the 22nd of May, Mercury squared Neptune. And next Saturday, a week from yesterday, Mercury will square Neptune again. So that's the second square. There's going to be three, and we talked about this. But what happened? So what happened for you a week ago? A week and a half ago? What happened on the 22nd of May? Did you get some information? Did you get some intuition? And, there's been a lot of action in the last week because Mercury has been talking to Venus, and Venus also talked to Neptune. And so there's dialogue going on. And so what kind of dialogue have you had this week? What was the dialogue? What was the theme of the dialogue? And I have to say, when I look back in these last few days, in this last week, it's been intense. And I don't mean intense like accusatory dialogue and dramatic dialogue. And my dialogue has been high-level spiritual dialogue. And as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking of it, and I'm realizing that it's been really powerful, high-level spiritual dialogue. And it's not been, like some, there was confusion, of course. There always is. Mercury, Neptune, Mercury retrograde, this is confusion. But the dialogue has been powerful, like the knowledge, which Mercury rules knowledge. It's not just communication. It's knowledge. It's intellect. It's information. It's networking. But I met new people, and we talked, and there was dialogue, and I talked to other people, and I talked to my shaman, and it's all the same information. And it is high-level spiritual information about shifts and changes in our energy field. And, everything is energy. Vibration, energy, everything is energy, everything is vibration. And vibration and energy are everything. So if you are feeling things, write them down, pay attention to them, list them, talk to somebody who you know you can talk to about these mystical things. These were more mystical conversations. They were not chit chat gossip. This is not, I did not get gossip. Thank God. I really don't want gossip. But, when Mercury goes retrograde, the truth often comes to light. And, Neptune can be enlightening. So now I'm experiencing an enormous amount of deep spiritual dialogue. And so I'm paying attention to that. And I'm digging into that. And I'm listening and I'm absorbing it because it's powerful and very, very important. And it's about turning points. And I have been talking about turning points for weeks. So my instincts and my intuition about turning point, which I said probably a couple weeks ago and on Instagram, and I kept saying to people I know, I think there's a turning point apparent, like around us right now. Each of us is going through our own turning point, and man, is it happening. We are in it. We are in a turning point. And it could be like, something simple for you in your life. Don't think just because I'm saying it's massive that, well, what am I missing? What's Deb doing that I'm not? Deb is in the healing professions. Deb is in the helping professions. Deb has other information coming through that, I have to impart upon everyone else, to everyone else. And, there's something in your life shifting and changing. I can guarantee that. Nobody is sitting around going, la-di-da, oh, it's Mercury retrograde. Oh, my phone isn't getting the messages. And, oh, somebody texted me, I didn't get it. Yeah, that's going on. Sure. But this is a massive shift. And there is enormous information coming through. And there is an enormous amount of turning point happening. And I feel it. And be it Neptune, be it Mercury, all of it. And Saturn shifting direction. It's here. It's here. And I felt it for sure on that eclipse the other day. So, people keep asking each other, oh, how was the eclipse for you? How was the eclipse for you? And people were like, no, it was pretty mild. I didn't experience anything. And I really felt like, eclipses, remember what I've said before, eclipses eclipse you. So there's a point where you feel, oh my God, I'm here and this is it. And it's like, remember last week when I talked about, huis clos, no exit, Jean-Paul Sartre, and how they're living the same thing over and over again. It's Saturn retrograde, and it's like they can never get out of it. There's that moment during an eclipse where there's a bit of despair and where you feel eclipsed. And then it passes, and then you go, oh my God, this is deep. And like the depth of shift and change was far greater, in my case anyway, than the moment of despair. But there was that moment of hanging, of, is this all, there's that old song, is that all there is? Is that all there is? Is this all there is? That's it? And no. Sometimes we get fooled into thinking that we are on the treadmill, and we're not. We think we're on a treadmill. Sometimes we're really on the treadmill. But I feel deep within my being that we are on the precipice of something profound, each and every one of us. And how could we not be? Look what's happened in this last year. Look what's gone on this earth. Something has moved and shifted and changed. And, people keep going, oh, things are getting back to normal. We're never the same. We're not going to be the same. We aren't the same. We're not the same. No one's the same. You've been through something. Okay? Like, sometimes you've moved into a new apartment or a new home, a new house you just bought, and there's an energy. If you're paying attention to it, there's an energy, and you're like, something happened here. I always tell people to smudge the space. Smudge your space, okay? Smudge your space when you move into a new house. Even when you get a new car, somebody, someplace was in that car. Get a new car. You buy a used car, you better smudge that car. Anything. You smudge. When you move into an apartment, when you move into a house, unless somebody hasn't lived in the house, it's a brand new building that was just built, a brand new condo or something, But my point is, when you've been through something. You walk in a house, something went on here. Something went on here. Or you walk in and you're about to go to visit friends, and maybe they had an argument before you got there, and it's like, something went on here. It's that feeling, that moment of, something happened. And yeah, something happened. And for each of us, there's been a something. It's not terribly conscious. It's not terribly available and aware. It's a knowledge, let's just say, okay? It's a knowledge that things are moving and changing and different, okay? And there was a pivot. So that doesn't mean that, what do you mean? Something happened, Deb? Nothing happened. Well, it's, I'm sensitive to these energies and I'm picking them up and my antennas are up. Just because it hasn't plopped in your lap yet doesn't mean nothing happened. So just be aware. We have been through something, and so we need to move forward. And we're starting to get a sense of what that forward is going to look like. And so here we are. So the information continues. We go back over information that we've lived through over these last weeks, which is what Mercury is doing. It's revisiting the spots in Gemini that we've been through over these last weeks. And, on Saturday the 5th, it's going to revisit where it was on the 22nd of May, because Neptune doesn't move very far and it's going to square Neptune again. And so we go to the next deep layer. This is where I say that both planets were doing different things at each turn. So there's going to be 3 visits. The first one, both planets were direct. The second one, Mercury's retrograde. The third one, Mercury will be direct and Neptune will be retrograde. So we're not there yet. Let's keep going. We had one eclipse. We've got another one. We've got one on the 10th of June, which is not this week, it's the following week. And so now we are in between 2 eclipses. And one of the things that I was taught, and I've told my clients and told my students and told people over the years, is that what I learned was you don't start something new between 2 eclipses. And my teacher, I looked at his website the other day, Michael Luton, and he said, this isn't the time to try the new restaurant. And he's right. You're not going to a new restaurant. You're sticking with the one you know very well, okay? You go, let's go back to that place. That's good. They always have a good meal there. That's where you're going. You're not this is not an adventurous time. We are not going into new adventures in restauranting. We're not trying that, not saying that you'll get food poisoning, but you just might be disappointed. I've tried new restaurants on Mercury retrograde between 2 eclipses, and it was just like, meh, I'm not going back there. And the service was bad, the food was, no. This is where you stick to the program, what you know very well, okay? And that goes across the board in life. So, there's lots of things, I've been looking into, new Macintoshes that are going to be coming out. Never would I buy a computer right now. No. But they're going to be later in the year anyway. I'm also looking at different astrology software. Never would I buy new software right now. But I can research it. Research is fine right now. Research is very good. But this is a time to experience oneself and experience one's knowledge, because that's what Mercury in Gemini is about, and that's what Mercury's about. What do I know? What can I bring forward? What information do I have that is important to share? What am I realizing? And, I'm in a coaching program, and I'm part of. I'm not the coach, but the most one of them is some of the exercises that I have to do, my homework and all, is, it makes us reach deep within and figure something out and get to the bottom of something and reveal something. And this is a time of revelation. So we've got till the 10th for the next eclipse, and then Mercury's retrograde till the 22nd of June. So we're staying put. We're not, taking a vacation in a new spot, trying the new restaurant, buying the new computer. No. We're staying in place and reviewing and revising and re-editing and remembering things that we've done and stuff like, oh, I'm going to pull up that old manuscript that I started, that kind of thing. And I'm going to have a look at it again. And so that's part of it. Now, Venus and Mercury had a conversation. And I'm not entirely sure what it was about yet. I have things in my life where I think it was about. Venus had a conversation with Neptune. Then it went to Mercury, had a conversation. And now Venus is moving along. Now, Venus will change signs this coming week. So it's the only planet other than the moon changing signs this week. And she is going into the sign of Cancer, which she likes because it's a nice, soft, squishy, watery sign. And she's happy with that. So that is going to be Wednesday, the 2nd of June. And the 2nd of June, she will go in early morning, if you're in the Eastern time zone. She likes Cancer. She is happy there because she gets to be expressive and feminine and sensitive and nurturing and motherly. And she'll be there till the 26th of June when she goes into Leo. So Venus in Cancer, this is a good time to nurture, to love, to take care of your kids, to love your children, to have your family around and invite them over for dinner if you can, to go to your garden and to touch the flowers, to touch nature, to go to Mother Nature and listen to Mother Nature because she's speaking very clearly and loudly when Venus is in the sign of Cancer. It's the Divine Mother. And so it's time to connect with that Divine Mother. And motherhood's tricky, for a lot of people. Our mothers are a tricky relationship. And people, I have a friend here who I said, something about a complicated relationship with a mother. And he said, complicated? He was a Cancerian. It's like, how could you have a complicated relationship with your mother? And it's like, well, look, she carried you in her body and she gave birth to you through her body. And, that's the closest relationship physically that you had before you entered the earth. And that's complicated. That right away is complicated. Before you even speak words to each other or have a relationship, that is complicated, okay? And so you know her and she knows you inherently. And so my wish for everyone is that they can be that close to nature and know her inside out. And I mean, not everybody's going to have a great relationship with their mother. And mothers, like I said, it's a tricky thing, And relationships are complicated, period. But mothers are another dimension, shall we say. And so what do I think? I put up a blog the other night. If you haven't seen my blog, go to my website, thegoldenastrologer.com, and click on Astrologer's Thoughts at the bottom of the page. And my blog talks all about, what's been going on, what's happening, and the eclipses and the Mercury retrograde and what we're doing right now and how we take care of each other and ourselves. And the photograph I put was this photograph from one of our gardens here where it just took over. And I may have mentioned this before, that it took over tomatoes and squash. We did not plant these vegetables. They showed up. They completely took over the garden to the point where I had to go out in high boots to get the baby, like cherry tomatoes, tiny baby cherry tomatoes. But the squash and the tomatoes and nature, and the ground here is very fertile in Costa Rica, obviously, but it was so phenomenal that nature just took over the garden the way it did. We don't even know how it happened. That garden's been there for years, and something suddenly burst where nature was alive and giving birth to squash. To the size of the squash was unbelievable. The tomatoes were we had bags and bags of tomatoes. Everybody was coming through my house just to get tomatoes. Everybody's talking about the sauce they made, the salad they had, My point is, Mother Nature, and I put this on my blog under the caption of the photo, nature's not going to fail you. Nature will never fail you. So if, you need to feel nurtured in the arms of the Great Mother, when Venus goes into Cancer, that's the time to do it. Sit with nature, speak to her, talk to whatever inspires you. The sunset is nature. The tree is nature. The garden with the tomatoes and the squash are nature. The water, the ocean, whatever speaks to you. And yes, I may sound like a hippie, but it's important to be connected to nature. And we lose that. We've lost it so much in our lives. It is a phenomenal force. It is what put us here, okay? So while Venus is in Cancer, in those weeks, honor nature, honor Venus, honor the Divine Mother, honor the nature that puts you here and the nature that surrounds you, even if it's just little plants in your house or the park nearby. It's so important to connect with that. And I guarantee she has a message for you. So this is only once a year. Venus is not going to retrograde and spend like 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months in Cancer. She's only going to be there from Wednesday the 2nd to the 26th. So that's only 24 days. That's not even a whole month. Okay, it's a little over 3 weeks. So she's blowing through that sign of Cancer, but she deeply feels there. And she's sensitive there. And if you are a little more sensitive right now, just don't worry about it. Just allow it to happen. Allow those emotions to come up and feel them. It's important. And anyway, moving right along through the week, Venus, yes, lovely. But she's going to make a nice trine to Jupiter. So because Jupiter's in early Pisces, remember? And it's going to stay in early Pisces. So she enters Cancer on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, she trines Jupiter in the afternoon. And wowie, what a lovely aspect. It's watery, so go, like, if it's summer where you are, go take a walk on the beach. If it's not summer where you are, if you're in Australia, something, go maybe visit the frozen lake or whatever. You can still go to the beach, even if it's cold. But find water and let the water heal you. Venus Jupiter is incredible. I just had an insight. Don't spend all your money. Don't spend all your money. Don't go like wild shopping, because that's what that Venus Jupiter, whoops, it just flows right from my fingers out of my wallet into the store. And I was just like, no, I don't, that's not what we wanted to use this energy for. It's very possible. But it's a really good aspect. It's a beautiful aspect, and it's such a lovely feeling, and it's the desire to be held and nurtured. So hold your pet, hold your child, hold your teddy bear, whatever you'd like. But that's going to be comforting, and this is a very comforting aspect this week, and we need it in between these 2 eclipses and this Mercury retrograde. And thank heavens, the Divine Mother speaks. So that's the other. In the meantime, when Mercury and Neptune speak again on Saturday the 5th, Mars and Pluto are going to be talking, and Mars is going to be opposing Pluto. Hot, hot, hot. So Mars, Mars is a warrior, and when he gets together with his buddy Pluto in a hard aspect like this, sometimes it's dark and deep and complicated, and it could be very rich. watch your temper. Mars is in Cancer, Pluto is in Capricorn, and Mars is not his favorite, he's not at his favorite spot in Cancer. So one of the things that's important to remember is to, of course, not lose your head. That's one thing. But the other thing is to not hold it in either. So Mars in Cancer, Cancer is not necessarily assertive, and it can be passive aggressive with Mars there. So I would say, sit back, connect, do a meditation because Mercury's with Neptune that day, and work with the energy. If you feel it building, it could be frustration, it could be anger, it could be something that you're not entirely aware of, because Pluto comes from the underworld, remember, and it's like it makes you aware of something and you're like, what the hell? What is this? Mars and Pluto are intense. Now, if you have an intense outlet, like you're doing like extreme cycling or something, or you are passionately involved in some creative work, Mars and Cancer, or you are passionately involved with another human being, well then, hey. But those are good outlets, but it's a fine line between those passions and then rigor and anger and, biting off the hand that feeds you too. So again, Mars and Cancer, something we're being fed. So be very careful with your energy. Do be mindful and drive carefully. Mars is automobiles. Drive carefully. There could be a lot of road rage out there. And, with Mercury retrograde, it's like, I didn't even know the light changed. Whoops. So try to just be very, very aware of your own unconscious energies, because Mars-Pluto, it is coming from the depths of our being. And Mars-Pluto, it only happens once every 2 years where Mars opposes Pluto, but it's triggering this Pluto that has been through the mill with Saturn, with Jupiter, with, all last year, and Mars is coming in and saying, and how'd that work out for you? Because remember last year, from like September onward, back and forth, August, September, there was, till the end of the year, Mars was in Aries. And it was making hard aspect to Pluto 3 times. 3 times. And the last time was in December. And now this is the next hard aspect since last year. So we went through something last year between like August and December. And it was that Mars squaring Pluto, Aries to Capricorn, and now it's the opposition. So if you have echoes of the last half of last year, those last 5 months of last year, then don't be surprised. But kind of, if you have a flashback to that, remember it, work with it. Don't let it overcome you. Don't let history repeat itself and be like angry at the same thing all over again. It's just not going to serve you. But be very careful in your dealings with people. It's an opposition. It's you and the person across the table from you. So if this is, if things are heated where you are, go for a walk and blow off steam. Go for a run. Go for a cycle. Do something to blow off steam. And just, preferably exercise. Don't injure yourself. Preferably exercise or something like physical that could really help burn up the energy. Okay? It's not a time to lose your temper at somebody. It can easily happen. So this, that aspect comes with a warning. We have such a beautiful aspect with Venus and Jupiter this week. Don't turn the week around into sourness after we had sweetness in the middle of the week. So just be very aware. Awareness is key. And what else is happening? So the sun will trine Saturn on Thursday, and that's okay. The sun in Gemini is going to talk nicely to Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn's retrograde, and those are like the big aspects. And when we are dealing with them, I think Mars Pluto is a heavy duty one. if we can mitigate that by like all the beautiful things that happened under Venus, Jupiter, terrific. So the moon's in Aquarius right now. It's going to be in Aquarius all day tomorrow, and then it's going to void, in the wee hours of Tuesday Eastern time, and then go into Pisces in the wee hours in the early morning, and be in Pisces all day Tuesday. And then it will be in Pisces on Wednesday. And so we're going to have a good amount of water with the moon in Pisces, and then Venus in Cancer, and Jupiter in Pisces. Very nice, right? So then Thursday, the moon will go void, 7:10 a.m. Eastern time, leave Pisces, go into Aries, 1:59 p.m. So Thursday the 3rd, the moon is void from 7:10 a.m. until 1:59 p.m., so 2 p.m. So that's not the best time to start anything. We're not starting too many new things this time anyway. So, maybe that's a time to rest. It's void in Pisces. If you can take a little rest on Thursday, the 3rd, that's good. And then Friday, the moon is in Aries, and we end the week with the moon in Aries. And it's in Aries all day Friday. It's in Aries all day Saturday. Most of Thursday, the afternoon onward, Eastern time. And then Saturday, the 5th, it goes into Taurus. It's actually it's the wee hours of Sunday. So it's goes void in the evening, and it stays void Saturday night. So go watch a movie or something. And that's pretty much the week. So Mercury's still retrograde. We're waiting on a second eclipse. Mercury's going to talk to Neptune again. Venus is going into Cancer, and she's going to speak to Jupiter, and Mars is going to talk to Pluto. So if I think that there should be any cautionary tales, again, it's Mars and Pluto. Be very aware of your energy and how you're using it, okay? And that's it. And enjoy this beautiful Venus into Cancer, trining Jupiter. Enjoy it. Do something creative. Tell someone you love them. Hug your kids. And hold your pets. And love your family. And, be loving towards yourself mostly, okay? Self-love. So gratitude for all of you listening. Thank you, and have a beautiful week. And we'll be here again next week. And if you do want to look at my blog, it's the goldenastrologer.com. You can sign up on the mailing list on the little box that comes up for Astrologer's Thoughts. And my Instagram is The Golden Astrologer, and my Twitter is @DebAstrology. So come see me there. Thank you. See you soon.